Hello, everybody. So I hope that you are all right. So it's been about 2 weeks since our last development log, and if you read our newsletter, you know that I've been working on contract work on to port another game to the Switch. This port is not quite finished yet. I will have to work on and off on it until about September, but the biggest part of the port is now behind me, so I'm back full force on ScourgeBringer. And today we are going to go through the latest improvement we add on the game. So just to start, I'm going to launch the current prototype. There's nothing really very new compared to previous videos if you came on previous streams. So this is just our starting room. So you see our little slugs. They are very cute, don't you think? And what has been changed is that we try to improve the control scheme and how the platforming work. And for that, we introduced a double jump. So you can now double jump. It's way more smooth than jumping and dashing. The dashing is going to be, I believe, ditched for what it is for platforming purpose. I mean, because it's another button. It's an additional button than the jump. When you jump, it's just the A button. If you wanted to jump dash, it's 2 buttons, and we feel like it's not smooth enough as a control scheme for what we want to achieve with ScourgeBringer. Because with ScourgeBringer, we really want that the control schemes are super easy, and that moving around, jumping around, climbing walls, and doing double jump, wall jumps, and so on, and that trying to reach enemies should be something that is really easy and smooth. So the jump dash, we are going to keep the dash, but it's going to be shifted to an attack. It's not going to be a move anymore, it's going to be an attack. And it's probably going to be our heavy hit. You have the basic slash, basic sword slash, and you are going to have a tougher hit, which is going to be something like a dash to dash forward on enemies. Because while playing the game, we noticed that we were using the dash mostly to try to dash on enemies and reach them when they were far away. While a dash is usually something that you either want to be an attack or something to avoid getting hit. And in ScourgeBringer, we feel like it's not going to be something that will be quite used to avoid things. We are going to try to introduce other kinds of elements to protect yourself or to counter it and so on. But for the purpose of a dash, we're probably going to stick with something that is close to a double jump. So right now the double jump it's not quite obvious, but Florian is actually reworking everything that is animation about the jump and the double jump. But well, right now we are going to stick with the double jump, which we feel that is more intuitive in terms of platforming and level traversing. And the dash is going really to be focused on what is attack and so on. And you could be like this enemy here on the sailing. If I want to reach it, I would most probably jump dash. So jump, dash, and slash. And it feels way more intuitive to have a dash to dash on characters and so on. And yeah, so Fail Positive asking, what's the little drone thing floating around the character? Well, it's a drone that can fire. So in the game you have a close range weapon, which is the saber of Kira, but you also have a drone friend accompanying Kira, and it's going to be what will allow you to fire weapons, long range weapons. So you will have this little bot. You have an auto aim to fire on enemy. I'm going to show you. So here I'm just using the auto aim button, so it's firing on enemy. And if you need some precision shots, you can use the right stick, sorry, to aim anywhere you like. And this bot is going to be upgradable, and also you are going to be able to change weapons and so on. And well, that's it. It's going to be what you are going to improve in the game. So we are not quite set yet on what are going to be the things that you are going to unlock and upgrade throughout the game. But this run is definitely going to be something that is going to be upgradable, and probably also the moveset of Kira herself. And yeah, I don't show the little drone very often because right now we are focusing on getting the close range combat to feel cool and interesting. And so yeah, a double jump. What have been changed also is there is a lot of freeze frame around. By freeze frame, it's frame during which an animation is frozen. You don't really notice that the animation is frozen, but it transparently helps you to understand how is composed the animation, how it works, and how the movement is broken down, and how to react and get your timing right. And for instance, when you jump, you may not really notice it, but when you reach the top 8 of your jump, it's Kira is going to float a little bit in the air, just going to stop at the top position. And this is a very simple animation trick, but it allows you to just get the timing right about when the jump is at its highest point to perform better double jumps, or to know very well how to control your character when you want to know that she's about to fall and so on. And we try to add those freeze frame about anywhere it was relevant on all the animation of the character. When you go on a wall, when you jump down, and so on. So we are trying right now to smooth everything out to get the best feel possible about all the platforming stuff before moving forward. We really want to have a very good platforming basis to build the game upon, because we feel like it's one of the most important elements that we want to get right before moving on. And the second thing that we really want to get right too is the combat. So everything that is close range combat. So right now Kira only has one move. You can only slash forward, and we did a lot of things like air control. There is something like an aim assist. It's not an auto aim when you dash through an enemies, but if I just dash and slash, even if it's mid-air, Kira is going to stick a little bit to the enemy she's trying to reach, and you can very easily air combo an enemy. So if I just try to get this enemy, so as you see, Kira has been like jumping around and slashing through the enemies in multiple times. And this was very easily done because I just had to jump on the enemy and mash the X button, and the combo just went on. And this is something that we want to be very, very fluent and just fluid in the way you're going to throw combos and so on. And I believe that's going to be the next step that we are going to work within this prototype, is to tweak and expand everything that is close range combat to get something very, very punchy and appealing, and having a command system that have a real use and that is not just going through enemies and so on. And for that too, we are going to use some freeze frame. Right now there are not so many freeze frame, but we want to have very heavy impact to have some freeze frame. You probably have noticed this in many games, that like in the last God of War game, which is a very good example of cool close range combat systems. When you hit an enemy, there is a little freeze on the animation of Kratos and the enemy he's hitting, and it's really puts an emphasis, focus on the action and just on the weight of just the impact, and it feels just right. That's the kind of thing that we want to improve in our game, to get in our game, to really try to tweak all the game feel and everything that is about the combat and so on. And well, that's about it with the prototype. What I wanted to show you as well is the other kind of stuff that we've been doing. So we are not always programming stuff and so on. We also have to prepare all the kind of things, like for the communication of the game, the marketing, and also to communicate with publishers and so on. If you follow our newsletter, you've been probably knowing that we have been starting to try to reach with publisher to get the game moving forward. And so Florian has been working on making a website. So it's a website with basically the artwork that he has done for the game, with some very basic elements and some early screenshots, which right now are not quite screenshots, because everything that you see here is not quite yet in the prototype of the game. So this is mostly, we'll say, mock-up of the game, and there is the bits of the UI. I have been started to work on the UI. I don't know if I can show you. No, I can't. But Florian has been started working on everything that is UI, and I've been started also to implement it. So everything that is the map, the health points, and all that kind of stuff related to weapons and upgrades are about to come together, and we are starting to get this in the prototype to start having something like a real demo. And so these are not real screenshots, they are mock-up, but it's very important to have them because it gets the feel and just the target of where we are heading. So it's important for us to have them when you work, and it's important to have this online so people get a real feel about where we are heading and what we want to do with the game. And so, just catching up with the chat, Doms is saying, may I just chime in really quick to say, I still love that cover artwork. Thank you. And another thing that we've been working, which is very important, it's a presentation sheet of the game from a commercial perspective and from a business perspective, I'd say. And it's basically the kind of document that we can send to press, to publishers, to any kind of partner we are about to work with, like composers, sound designers, people in marketing, and so on. And any kind of people that is potentially someone that will join our team to make the game. And so this document it presents us, Florian and me, what we are, who we are, what we are doing, what we done, and some text about the story of the game, the key point of the game, how the gameplay is supposed to work, and any useful information about the target platforms, the genre of the game, the possible platforms we are shooting for, the price, even if the price is never set in stone this early in the game, and also the target release date, which most obviously is very important to just schedule things. And so we made this document. Florian tried to polish it as much as possible, and we also made a little video presentation of the prototype. It's a private video, but it's basically the same kind of video I am doing right now through the stream. And it's just a rundown of the current prototype. And of course, we also have a build of the game. The build I've just show you is a kind of build that we started to send to people. And well, that's pretty much it. So over the past week, we've prepared to start talking with the outside world to get the game moving forward, because we know we can finish the game on our own, just development-wise, but that is excluding everything that is music, sound design, marketing, and publishing, and distribution, and so on. Well, basically it means that we can't finish the game by ourselves, and we need people to more skills and more partnerships and so on to get everything moving forward. And that's what we are doing this past few days. And we're trying to put everything together, and this is a very long process, because finding some good partners and trying to get everything proceeds and so on, it's very, very long, and it's not an easy nor a certain path. But I hope to be able to tell you what's going on and how things move forward, even if everything that is business related or marketing related is often kind of secret, because you don't want to spoil things or have your collaboration to don't get along well and so on. So there's going to be most probably some information that is going to be kept for ourselves until everybody feels okay with something to be really revealed publicly. So if one day you hear that we've signed with a publisher, there is a high chance that you're not going to know right away who we signed with, and it's just because everything have to be prepared correctly to everybody be on the same page, and that everybody is okay to move forward and that with a plan and so on. But that's pretty cool, and we are looking forward to having such partners to help getting the game in the shape that we like it to be. But we have good hopes for that. Yeah. Well, the other thing I wanted to show you is about our editor. So lately in this editor, I've been working on improving the boss side of things. So last time I've showed you this animation and how I worked on getting this animation tool correctly. And last week I have expanded this animation tool to include new things like here. So so last time I've told to you about this tool. Here on this animation, I've told you that our animation tool was for now only doing translations and rotations of sprites to create animations. And what I've added recently is the ability to swap sprites for another sprite. And this allows, for instance, to make animation of sprite animation. I'm just going to try to show you the animation that Florian has been doing on his side. So yeah, so this animation it's an animation that you may have seen in the newsletter or maybe on Twitter or on the Discord. I don't have this animation running in my editor because Florian did on his computer and I forgot to sync stuff, so I can show you here right now. And this one is running in the game itself, so there is a little background which doesn't exist in the editor. And as you see, there is the hand of the boss that are changing. It's not the same sprite over the whole animation. And that is the kind of feature that I've been working here in the editor. So here's our boss, and you can get one of his hand, this one, here, the hand. And here I can just use my mouse wheel to change the sprite. Right now the hand disappeared because here in my version of the editor I don't have any different sprites on the hand, but during the animation, if you just use the mouse wheel, you can go through multiple different sprites of the same hand and just build the animation as you go. So we can do rotation, translations, and also swap the different sprites. And the other thing is that I have plugged our weapon system. So we have two different timelines. We have one timeline for the movement and the animation itself, and we have one timeline to time weapons and attack patterns. And I can just add single actions like firing a single shot, or start shooting and maintain this shot and stop it anywhere in the animation. And so this boss has two weapons, one on each hand. And what's cool about this is that the weapons are rigged to the end, and they are rigged in our animation system, which means that if I just take this hand and during the animation I move it here, so the animation is going to be kind of ugly because it's just to show you how it works. But as you may see, the shots are going to be synced with the animation. So as the hand moves, the weapon is rigged on the invisible weapon, is rigged on the end of the boss, and it follows the hand. And it works with translation, but it works with any kind of animation. So if I just go through a rotation, so I'm trying to rotate the end, and you will see that the weapon and the direction of the weapon is going to follow also the animation. And this is the kind of tool and animation system and weapon system that are going to allow us to do everything that is attack patterns with our boss. And this is something that we really wanted to have in the game. And so far, so good. It allows us to do some cool things, such as this one. And we can't wait to finish a boss entirely and to start trying this out inside the game itself, and hopefully have a full demonstration of everything that is going to be in a single level. So that's pretty cool, and this is where we are going. And well, that's pretty much what I can show you this week about our progress on the game. And as always, if you have any questions, any comments on what you see and so on, feel free to just ask in the chat or to drop on our Discord server or on the YouTube comment if you are watching through the replay of the video, or on Twitter, or anywhere you like, anywhere you prefer. We are always everywhere also ourselves. And next week, what we are going to work on, I am going to continue working on enhancing the platforming controls, and I'd also like to start making the UI and hopefully also improve the combat system to start making multiple moves and like replacing the dash with a dashed attack. And well, that's it. That's it for today. That's it for this new development log of ScourgeBringer. I hope that you liked what you've seen, and just trying to catch up with the questions. So Dom still asking what you're saying is you're going to have a vertical slice to show off at Gamescom. I'd like to have a vertical slice to show at Gamescom, but Gamescom is in about a month. Yes, it's in a month. And, well, it could have been, but since I am also working on some contract work and Florian is getting some days off because he's going to be dad in October. So he's preparing everything for this coming of his future son. And well, just to say that I don't believe that I'm going to have the time to get bosses working and playable in an enjoyable state in the prototype until the Gamescom. But what we are planning is that somewhere in October we should have that vertical slice. So for people who are not who don't know what a vertical slice is, a vertical slice is it's like a prototype of a game where all the features you'd like to have in the final game are. In the sense that it's something like one single levels that expose the complete intention of the game and the gameplay, how it's going to be. And it's called a vertical slice because it's like having a full cake, but you just want to get one slice of it. And with one slice of it, you still have the full experience of the game. You have all the flavors, but you don't have the full cake. And the full cake, most obviously, it's the game content and everything that you are going to build upon all the flavor that you are going to put in your single slice. And so a vertical slice, it's basically, that's it. It's a demo. It's a demo of a game on basically over one level. And that's what we are working on. We are working on getting a vertical slice put together. And for that, we have to finish the bosses. We have to finish how the combat works. We have to introduce more kind of enemies and to tweak their AIs to so that everything blends together. And we also have to have the UI working. We also have to work on the eventual upgrade system that we want to get in, and just so that people get the sensation of what it's going to be, the full length of the game, so that you can just imagine where it's going in terms of content and length. So, well, that's it for good now. And I hope to catch you next week. And of course, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to butt in, and I'd be very glad to explain you. So catch you later, and have a nice day. Bye.